This is episode 194 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Andrew Owlett. Andrew is a real estate investor and developer of hotels, short-term rentals, long-term rentals, and now boutique hotels with a wellness twist, which I'm super interested in. He's also the founder of Night Owl Academy, Night Owl Management, Night Owl Capital, and STR on Auto Drive. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. The listeners don't know, but we just had like a blip and we're going in for the second start of our show. So we're really ready for this. But I wanted to start with the boutique wellness space because it's interesting to me and your journey to get there is really interesting. So tell me about boutique wellness in the hotel space before we get back into your background.
For sure. So, like I was saying earlier with take one, there's just so much to unpack, and it's really important to kind of understand the story behind the interest in this. So I was a firefighter EMT for about 7.5 years, and I made a conscious decision to transition out at that 7.5 year mark. And when I got out and eventually went into corporate and tech and security and like all this other stuff, I realized my support system just kind of went away. That support system in that community that I had just wasn't there as much anymore. And I also realized that I was dealing with a lot of PTSD. I didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
But I eventually found out through my journey of being out of public safety that I was dealing with a lot of PTSD. So I searched around for resources, and I tried to find different like escapes that I could just go off the grid and just reconnect with myself mentally and physically and just come back feeling refreshed. And it was very hard to find that. So the whole reason I want to get into the wellness space is because I don't think I'm that unique. I think that actually like the stress of life is more than ever a burden on everybody's shoulders. I mean, economically, it's hard to go out and buy groceries. I mean, economically, it's hard to travel.
It's hard to buy a home right now.
It's hard to buy a home. Yeah. There's just so many different things, and that's stressful. It's stressful, especially when you have a family. It's stressful when you don't have a family. It doesn't matter who you are. And it's okay to admit that. But what's not okay is not knowing like how to recharge and reconnect. And I want to help people with that by providing a wellness destination that allows you to have self-guided experiences or guided experiences, because wellness is not a one size fits all. It's unique to everybody. One of the biggest reasons we got into real estate investing, but yeah, that camaraderie piece goes away.
Yeah.
It dwindles. I mean, when you're surrounded by the same quote unquote family every day, because you see them more than family during the week. I mean, it's really difficult when you get out and try something different to still sustain that. But one thing that you just hit on, Jonathan, that's also at the crux of everything we do and why we found ourselves getting into real estate investing. And it's, I guess it's a principle of why we do it. It's community, and making sure that wherever we go and whatever we do, that we are making a positive impact on the community and people's lives that are going to be living in our rentals, paying at our hotel. It's so incredibly important. And that goes back to my roots as a first responder and being embedded in the community. So we're carrying that with us.
Yeah, and I think these are stories that, of course, investors need to hear, but the general public needs to hear as well, because I think if you just go out and the general public who has no experience with real estate investing, they think that all landlords are slumlords and like, this is just what we do and we're trying to get the most rent and provide the worst properties. But there's a lot of people who really take being a landlord or a steward of the house for somebody else. Let's go through your journey, because you got to here, but you started with just long-term rentals, right?
Yeah. So, real estate investing journey wise, started with long-term rentals. Ironically, like, and this is what I recommend to everybody starting out. I mean, if you already own a home, you're most likely in a position where like when you move out, you have an opportunity to dip your toes into real estate investing. And it's very, I don't want to say easy. It's just that it is an easier way to get in.
Yeah.
And that's how I got in. I bought a middle of the group townhome in inner city Baltimore. And when I was looking for a home, I knew that I wanted to be in an area where it was a hot rental market because I had an inclination that I wanted to get into real estate investing and I wanted to hold on to it for the long term. Small 650 square foot townhome close to a main gathering point in the sub community that it's in.
Yeah.
And a very quiet street, which is weird to say in a city, but it's very quiet.
Yeah.
And it ended up allowing me to learn about how to register with the city to rent a rental. What different state laws are there? What are contracts and leases? What are maintenance agreements? How do you market and brand something? How do you bring on a tenant? How do you remove a tenant? How do you uh, do handle maintenance requests when a tenant
Yeah.
is living in there? I mean, just so many different. How do I collect payment automatically? How do I take tenant applications? What can I collect? How do I do a background and credit check? Anyway, 1,000 different things that I was able to test the waters in a very low risk type of environment, even though at the time I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is the biggest risk I'm taking.
Yeah. I'm impressed by people who DIY stuff, but like that's not for me. I have other stuff to do. Like, yeah, whatever. I'd rather watch a show and pay someone because that's just like that's the scale of how I build my life. And also, I've tried to build IKEA furniture. I can't do it because I get annoyed and break it in half because it doesn't. I can't look at a picture of two Danish hands just moving stuff and understand what to do. It's just not. It's not for me. You hire someone on TaskRabbit and they do it in 4 minutes. That's great. Great spend for me.
It's so funny with the short-term rental. Like my wife was like, "Hey, like, we can just hang the TV or we can just put together the furniture." And I'm like, "Well, what sounds really nice is calling your dad who loves to put stuff together and saying, "Hey, do you want to make a trip? Like, hey, do you want to do this?" And then you can stay in the short-term rental for free. That thing, like enjoying like relaxation. And if they're not available, if leveraging family isn't a thing that folks can do, then go to TaskRabbit. To your point, I mean, pay $50 to have somebody spend 30 minutes to an hour putting together something that would take you 6. So
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, I think that's just a general who, not how principle. Like TaskRabbit, I found a guy, I'm still friends with him. And every time I have stuff to put together, I just call him and he drives out. It's not expensive. And he doesn't make me feel bad. Like, oh, why didn't he just put this together himself? He just like knocks the stuff out. He hangs my TVs because I'm not good at it. And also I don't want to do it. Like, I just don't want to do it. It's just not my thing. And I think it's not right for people to judge what is, because if you're doing who, not how the right way, you're replacing it so you have time to do things that are higher value. And you're also rewarding someone who does that for a business, and that's how you eventually, like I was saying, you scale your business slowly in the beginning, which is not like scale like everybody thinks. It's just scale to say like, you know what? A lot of people they have a short-term rental that's nearby. They're like, hey, I'll just do the cleaning. And then they do it once and they're running late and there's like another one's moving in and they screw it up and they don't, put the little shell fringes on the paper and they get a 4-star review and they're like, I'm out, never going to do that again. Also, I suck at cleaning,